Hello. Greetings, everybody. Thank you for joining us and watching this video. In this video, I wanted to discuss a topic that I discussed on a podcast recently. I had a conversation with the Good Morning Africa podcast hosted by the K Financial, and I discussed with them the issue of the African Union joining the G20. And so, for those who don't know, the background is that the G20, which is considered the world leading economies, have admitted Africa as a permanent member. Um, Not just African countries, but it has admitted the African Union into the G20. And so, some of the conversations that have been taking place following this is this a step in recognizing Africa's importance on the global stage? Is this an opportunity for Africa to cement itself on the global stage? And is Africa being considered more? And is this a chance for Africa to voice its concerns to the global stage? So, based on in the discussion with the podcast, I basically said that I don't think there's much to be expected from joining the G20. Number one, the African Union is seen as largely a toothless organization. The African Union, in many cases, has been unable to address or mitigate regional security, political, or economic issues. The example we give, if you look at the coups that have happened in West Africa, has been the ECOWAS, the Economic Community of West African States. If you look at many of the peace agreements that have taken place and issues of mediation have been done through regional bodies. And these regional bodies, the most powerful regional bodies in Africa right now are the East Africa Community, the ECOWAS, and SADC. They're really cementing themselves. So this push was largely pushed for by the Prime Minister of India. So we have to look at this issue of Africa's voice on the global stage, and I think this is one of the key points you have to look at. Does Africa not have a voice on the global stage? Before we get into that, we have to know that Africa is not a monolith. Africa is a continent, the second largest continent, one of the most diverse continents in the world. So to say that, okay, the African Union has been given a seat, all of Africa considered, no, the African Union as an institution is being considered. Second to that, individual African countries have a global platform. Every year, they come to New York and they speak in front of the United Nations General Assembly. That's their platform. That's a platform that they can use to voice their concerns. And the fact that Africa is not a monolith, every country has its own unique issues. Africa is diverse. It's diverse politically, it's diverse economically, it's diverse socially, and it's diverse religiously. Africa is more religiously diverse than Europe. Africa is more religiously diverse than most of the world. You have Islam, you have Christianity, you have traditional African religions. You have all these things. So when we talk about giving Africa a voice on the global stage, I don't think this is going to give Africa a voice on the global stage because the G20 is an organization led by the United States. It's largely considered a Western-led organization. But entering so many multilateral organizations doesn't really do much in our global stage because now with the age of technology, with the modern era, you have so many avenues to voice your concerns, to bring awareness to certain issues. So I'll close this by saying, here are some key issues that African countries need to think about and need to discuss. Number one, there's a global push for climate change. Africa does not emit a lot compared to the world. I mean, I think last time I checked, it was like 3%. But you can't expect countries who rely on hydrocarbons and minerals to shut down their economies to satisfy these demands, satisfy these conditions and criteria that were agreed upon in Paris. That's not fair. Yes, climate change is real, and we need to do our best, but you can't force countries in Africa to stop producing oil or stop mining or stop doing natural resource extraction because of that. That's one thing. Number two, the issue of access to finance. And this is one of the issues that has become a concern where Africans, as they grow, they're starting to see a bottleneck. And what they want is they want investment, uh, and they want more economic support. And this economic support to ensure that the average African lives improve. Um, Besides that, if you don't have a position, if you have a position on the global stage and you voice your concern, you voice your issues and you share them, but it's not changing the lives of the average African, then nothing will change. So, in conclusion, I want to hear hear your thoughts, share your comments. Is what will Africa benefit by joining the G20? Is it a positive? Is it a negative? Or will things remain the same? Okay, thank you.